Welcome back, this is Nick with the Schmitter's 100 Acre Woods. So today's a quick video kind of going through some of the paths that we have here at the property. So up first, kind of coming up a small hill and kind of come to a plateau where the home site will eventually be. Right now it's kind of just used as a wood yard. There's firewood there and that's where we've been clearing out. After that, we've built this area up here with some dirt, and then kind of come up and over this hill, and then there's some paths cut through the spoil piles. So this is all old coal ground that was reclaimed, so you can see all the spoil banks here as we kind of cut through. This path was originally here when we bought the property. And this turn here is kind of down the range, so we have some targets and things set up for some shooting. So that's kind of the purpose of this range here, but it cuts diagonally across the property. So all this was taken down, so you can see on the right hand side one of the spoil piles that we had to cut, kind of shifted to the left. All this has been cut down. So this is using that M62 and the Kubota B2150. This is right along in the Otter, the RTV 1120.
It's been a while since we've been out shooting.
So here you can see an area where we have some logs and stuff stored.
It looks like my cord plugged in. It's gonna be in all the way.
So that's kind of the high spot plateau, and then you kind of go downhill. Here we have to kind of cross a path where it used to hold water. We've built all that up, and then the shadows make it deceiving, but there is a hill there, and had to cut that out to be able to create a ramp up. And then have to have this ramp down to continue along the path. So there's been a couple different iterations of this path back here. So this one we found that the low side was actually holding water and we didn't have a spot to get the runoff, so we built that up and created a new path there. This is the area from the video before about doing the clearing of the path. That was right back there.
That probably is kind of moist, yeah.
So this part of the path is not quite as wide as the other part, so this is mainly just to get the otter back. It hasn't been widened out quite as much.
Take some of the stony stuff and put it in this hole.
Yeah, or just cut the, when we take that tree out, just kind of move that whole path to the north just a little bit.
So this is a loop that I'm about ready to do. So it's kind of a loop around and it's back to our 1,000-yard target. So anyone interested in kind of shooting or long-range shooting, it's kind of the main purpose of this trail is to get back to this 1,000-yard target. We hang a piece of steel back here. This trail then continues back to the property line. So this would be the far east property line. And we're about 100 yards from the corner of the property. And then the property line is right at this corner here. And then this follows along the east property line. It's on the left hand side as you look at the video. So this is a relatively new path. We put it in just a few months ago and kind of worked on just taking the top of a ridge and working it down to get it wide enough. And then right now we've kind of deviating around a few trees. Then we go down this hill, and this was already mostly cleared out from a previous trail that the other property owner on the left hand side had created, but we widened it out so that we could stay fully on the 100 acres on the right. So you'll notice that there's some posts that are put up. Those are from the original property markers, and we've painted them blue just so it's easier to see in amongst the brown and other colors of the woods. So here we're about one ridge from the other property corner. So we went ahead and created the path back to the other side around. So the idea is to have a full loop around the property. And this is kind of the rough start to get that.
Yeah, like take that and push it out that direction. Yep. Widen around a little bit.
So part of this was created with the B2150. It's been graded out. This part down here was created with the M62 and still needs to be graded. The 62 is really good at moving dirt. It's just the final finish that it's not as good at, and that's where you really need the grader box from the smaller tractor to be able to maneuver. So this is the end of the path that we have here. Up next is kind of getting across the small ravine and then starting back up the hill and cutting a few trees down. This is a log from when we created the path. We sealed the ends on this one for the sawmill eventually. And here we're just getting it up off the ground by cutting a couple of limbs from another tree, putting it under the log just to help hold it up. So just using the cant hooks that I talked about in a previous video to roll that out, put the logs down, and then roll the log back. So thank you for watching the Schmitter's 100 Acre Woods. If you like this video, we'll have more at the property and kind of doing some more work on these trails.